Hey guys, it's time to close the business. This is called the in and out strategy. This strategy has helped me for many, many years and closed the many business. And you must learn it. You got to practice and practice until you got better and better. Matter of fact, tonight after you watch the movie or after this video, practice with your spouse, practice with your brother, sister, whoever around you, do it right away. You'll get better. So without saying further, let's start this thing. So actually, you already collect the data from your client. You pretty much know what you have and what you don't have. So assuming your client tells you, hey, I already have a policy. I'm not interested to buy anymore. That's okay. Your job is not to sell them anything. Your job is to identify, educate. So let's get to it. The first thing that we're going to talk about is term policy. Term is very simple. It has its purpose, very inexpensive. So let's say assuming you purchase a 30-year term, and the 30-year term is $1 million coverage, and you're paying $100 a month, and you're 30 years old. 30 years later, you have paid it into 30 years, and the policy will go away. So now you're 60. So what's next? Well, it does its job, right? Your client has all the services been done, but now the question is, do I still need more policies? Well, some people do, some people don't. For me, I really like to have more coverage, a permanent coverage. But let's say your client doesn't care about any more coverage. But what if they need a living benefit? What if they want their money back? So there are riders out there you need to mention. Some people have those term policy, does not have any riders. So you might be able to help them with different riders, such as a living benefit rider. What is a living benefit rider? Well, I didn't die, but I got sick. I got disability. I cannot perform 2 out of 6 activities, such as bathing, toileting, changing my clothes, driving around, moving around, getting out of bed. They can trigger that rider to protect themselves instead of just their loved ones. So that's the premium living benefit rider. How about return premium rider? That's powerful. Have you ever run into people that say, well, I just don't want to pay it because I don't like to pay it. I don't feel like I should pay any life insurance. But what if you offer them a return premium? You ask a question, you buy a car insurance, can you get your money back if you don't have any accident after 20, 30 years? No, you don't. But what if you purchase this term insurance with the return of a premium? You get all your money back. Isn't that awesome? So that's how the term works. The second category would be the permanent insurance. So a lot of my clients, they have something called whole life. So honestly, do they really know how whole life works? Well, whole lives, how does it work? Well, you got to pay entire life, maybe 120 years. So the question is, do you know that? Most of the client don't know that. So on this example, on this PowerPoint, I'm paying $300 a month to buy $1 million coverage. My cost of the insurance is approximately $250. But where is the other $50 went to? Cash value. So you start to build up cash value. With this cash value, you're generally getting about 2 to 3 to 4% interest with the dividends, they call it. So it's not very attractive to me because I'm a good investor. I don't like that low interest rate. And besides that, also the whole life is a level death benefit. So you must know that as an agent, you need to be able to identify if your client has a whole life, which is level death benefit. What that means is the $1 million death benefit they got and $200,000 cash value they built, let's say 20, 30 years down the road, anything happened to the client, how much money does it pay out to the beneficiary? Is it $1 million or is it $1.2 million? Well, the answer is obvious. It's $1 million. So where does the cash value go? The insurance company keeps it. That's because it's a level death benefit. So keep in mind on that. So the next product that came out of the industry called Universal Life. And I love the Universal Life because the fact that it's flexible. It's not like whole life. You're stuck. You cannot pay more, you cannot pay less. But Universal Life allows you to do a maximum funding or minimum funding. In some cases, you can skip the payment. It doesn't trigger any policy loan on that. So that case, let's say a client put it in $2,000 a month. Now you got $1,750 in the savings. It's still generating very low interest rate around 2 to 3 to 4%. So that being said, again, as a investor, I don't think that's the best way to invest your money or your saving money in such a low interest rate. So if you really understand the industry, back in the old days, there's a guy named R. William. He was preaching about buy turn, invest the rest. And he's right, because if you buy turn, invest the rest, you have a better chance to grow more money out of it. So the insurance company came up with a new product called Variable Universal Life. So this product is powerful back then because the market has always been growing for the last 10, 20 years. So your money is in the mutual fund now, or stocks you picked, whatever is in that portfolio. So people enjoyed that joyride for 20 years. But what happened to the market in September 11, 2001? It fell, right? So it is very risky. If you don't like to take any risk, I would not highly recommend you go with a VUL. So the next thing that happened in the industry is in around 2001, this Index Universal Life was introduced to the market. How this works is instead of your money is directly invested in the market, now is mirrored to the S&P. What does that mean? So the S&P 500, it looks like this, right? The green line is representing your IUL. The blue line represents the S&P market performance. So let's say the market is going down right here, your IUL stay there. It does not get affected. So you don't lose your principal. And when the market is up, for example, up to let's say 20, 30%, that's the catch. You're not gonna get 20, 30%. It might be capped up at 10, 12, 15%. But then again, when the market drops 10% again, you never lose. You still maintain your value. So again, as you can see this green line, in the long run, you don't have ever to worry about losing any account value. So the question is, what's the average return of the S&P? Well, you can Google that. It's anywhere from 8 to 10%. So if I can get average 8 to 10% on the index, why not? That's a great product because now I can secure my money as I'm aged. I do not want to participate in any market risk. So that's why this IUL is so powerful. So now let's go back to your client, right? You say, Mrs. Client. So obviously last time I saw the whole life you have, so now you understand how it works. My question to you is, why did you buy the whole life in the first place? And you told me you want to use it for retirement. And you tell me you want to use for your kids' college fund, right? Okay, that's right. So now the question is, how do you take the money and use it? Do you just like call them and borrow that, or you call them and withdraw that? How do you do that? Have you ever asked about that? Most people never asked because they didn't know what question to ask. Trust me, my parents are like that. So now if you borrow the money from your whole life, your loan provision is stated very clearly in the contract. It's anywhere from 5 to 6, 7, 8%. The worst one I ever seen was 8.2%. Unbelievable high rate. But what if I tell you with the Index Universal Life, there are many, many carriers out there like Nationwide, Transamerica, Pacific Life. They have very, very good rates. You can borrow against it. They charge you anywhere from 2.25. They credit you 2% back at the end of the year. For example, Pac Life does that the first 5 years. After year 6, they give you a full loan rate back. So it's a wash loan. So by looking at that, you have to identify what is your client got. And then you need to educate them the types of a policy they get. And then again, maybe whole life is for them. We don't know, but let's find out. Maybe the universal life or the variable universal life is for them. But I can assure you, 99% of the time when I run to a client, they wanted to do a 1035 exchange. They want to upgrade their policy to Index Universal Life. So again, are you using a flip phone right now or are you using a smartphone? Probably smartphone. So why not upgrade your life insurance? All right, guys, Again, you need to practice this over and over again, and you probably change around a little bit. Just take this idea and put it in your own word and make it yours. All right, thanks guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the top.